Good evening and welcome back to Mystic Matters. We are the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. Good evening, Kristin.
Good evening, Susette.
I think I've missed you a little bit. I mean, you did some shows and then I did some shows and then we did shows together. And
I was at the beach, so.
All summer?
I hope you missed me.
I did miss you.
Yeah.
I really, really miss you. But
I was
I'm glad to
getting
have
tan.
you back.
It didn't work though. I'm still.
Well, I don't know. We could, but with the weather that we're having. It's been fantastic.
New England is great in the fall. Everybody should come and visit New England in the fall. I always say September is the best time.
You know, I was up in Hartford just a few weeks ago, and people were talking about the energy down here in Mystic, Connecticut, and about the restaurants and all of our organizations, and I think Mystic's just hopping.
It's hopping. Like
it really
when we did Streetscape like 3 years ago, everybody was, oh no, gnashing teeth and what's going to happen? It's beautiful downtown.
Right.
We've got stores like Ivory Ella coming into the downtown area, some really
Adore,
good regional
coming
anchors.
in. Yeah.
Adore, she's having a ribbon
Yeah.
cutting. She had her ribbon cutting.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
fantastic.
fun.
The
Yeah.
Coal Myers, great people.
Yes.
So what else is going on?
Well, Business After Hours is at Spicer Mansion tomorrow night.
One of my favorite places.
I know.
Okay, yeah.
Speaking of newcomers, I mean, obviously the mansion has been there since before our time, but Spicer Mansion has been there, I think it's 3 years now. And
3 years, yeah.
they have been part of the community, and it's just gorgeous there. And I don't want to speak easily.
Yeah,
Speak
no,
easy.
something that we're supposed to be a little bit on the radar, but speak easy, please.
There's room number 9.
Yeah.
Is open.
Yeah.
And
Number 9.
Yeah, so that is something that you may discover on Tuesday if you show up.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So this evening, you know, we love doing these shows, and the wonderful people that are on today. You will recognize them. I think Tom may have been on, or he may not have been on, but I don't know. I'm with Tom a lot, so I see him at a lot of events.
All the rumors are
and
true.
then all the rumors, there you go. They're out there. But today we've got a pretty important show. We have the Y.
The why.
The Y.
Yes, that's how you say it. The Y.
The Y.
Yep.
If you don't know what that stands for, I am going to introduce Tanner Evak. All right? Did I get that right, Tanner?
Yes, you did.
From the Mystic branch.
Correct.
Okay, so do we go by the YMCA
It's really just the Y now.
Yeah.
Across
That's why
the
I
country,
said the Y. It's a lot better.
It is.
You
It's
know,
clean,
like-
nice brand, recognizable for sure.
Right. So we have Tanner Evak, and we also have Tom Sanford. And you know, I was trying to introduce Tom Sanford in a way that was going to be like this, da 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 da. But Tom has been entrenched in the community for many, many, many years. Many of you know him. If there's a board or a commission or a committee, he's on it. You know why I know he's on it? Because I see him everywhere. And thank you, Tom, for your service to the community.
Well, thank you, Susette. You're very, very welcome. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Well, it's about time you were on my show. I tried to get you on my show for years, but you had to come with Tanner.
Sorry.
It's an honor and a privilege to join Tanner.
On the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tanner, let's just open it up with the why, where you guys are at right now, and sort of the direction that you're going.
Sure. We actually had a great groundbreaking, which you'll see a picture of later, but about a month ago. And 2 weeks ago, we really...
Right there.
Right there. There it is. We really got into construction about 2 weeks ago, so that the site looks very different. If anybody gets a chance to swing by or would like a tour, I'm happy to show. And yeah, we're just repositioning ourselves to open up more opportunity for programming through the community. There's our that's our project manager.
That is, I was going to say, this is a very, very important person right here.
Yes,
Yeah.
You should have had him on the show.
That's the guy running the show for the construction, right? But it was a very successful groundbreaking, wonderful event, nice evening. Tom was there to join us, but yeah, we're very excited about the opportunity to go through this renovation.
Now, you guys have been gearing up for this and raising funds for this for quite some time. And it's been on the news and in the community, and we've talked about it in our show a couple of times. So what brought the renovations, I guess, to a head? Like, what made you give the go-ahead?
I'm going to have to turn it over to Tom, because Tom was the co-chair for the campaign, and he's been involved a lot longer than I have with this project.
I was very privileged to be the co-chair of the capital campaign. to raise well over $4 million for a $7 million project. And my co-chair in running the campaign was someone we all know, Rob Valenti. And we not only co-chaired the campaign, but our particular objective was searching for, identifying leadership gifts, those gifts of $100,000 or more. And we were successful in that endeavor. Right below those numbers was the major gift campaign or phase of the campaign, and that was head up by Todd O'Donnell, another person that's well known in the community. And below the major gifts phase of the campaign was the community effort that was headed up by Harry White, who lives out on Mason's Island, and J.P. Morales lives up on Montauk. They did a wonderful job, and boy, through their efforts, they identified a family, the Nike family, who made a contribution or a pledge of $1 million.
Unbelievable.
And that got us to where we wanted to be, $4.3 million. We're just about to our target. We'd like to raise a few hundred, about $300,000 more dollars, so that we can fit out the YMCA with all of the latest equipment and fixtures and so forth and so on. But we are really close to our goal. So at the groundbreaking, I was very proud to be there and shoveling dirt, and my wife was right next to me, and very nearby was Rob Simmons and all the other people that were helping in the campaign. It was a great day.
Todd, speaking of Todd O'Donnell, I've got Todd on my head. But Tom, why are you involved in the YMCA? I mean, is this someplace that you regularly go to? Or, I mean, there has to be some type of relationship.
Gee, that's an interesting question, Susette. Thank you. And I don't want to talk too long, but I could talk about the answer to that question for maybe a half hour. I got involved with the YMCA here in Mystic back in about the early 2000s. We moved up here in 2001 from Westchester County, New York. My wife grew up in the Stonington area. I summered out in Quanticontog, Rhode Island. So we had roots in this area. But when I came to Stonington, I wanted a place to work out. I wanted to stay physically fit and active and so forth. And people recommended to me, go to the YMCA. So I joined the YMCA. I also happened to like to row. I rowed in college, and I was continuing to row during these early years of my retirement, but out on Little Narragansett Bay, right off where I live in Stonington Borough. But I got lonely because I was rowing alone. So I went over to the YMCA. This was around 2005, and I had a meeting with Maureen Fitzgerald, the executive director, and I said, Maureen, could I start a rowing program at the YMCA? And Maureen said, yes. Tom, go ahead and keep me abreast of what you're doing and so forth and so on, but it sounds like a good idea. So Tom Sanford and Biddle Morris, somebody else you know,
yes,
who is a retired dentist, he and I started a rowing program at the Mystic YMCA back in 2005, 2006, and it's only grown and grown. Almost every day I'm out on the Mystic River rowing. Matter of fact, I was rowing there today. It was a lovely day. So it was this general interest in wellness and a healthy, happy, constructive life, and then my desire to start a rowing program. And the YMCA made it possible. And now lots of other people are enjoying that too.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. So Tanner, is Tom Sanford basically the type of people that you see in your membership? I mean, is it, you see the young, but you see...
The old.
I did say that. I did.
The
The
active.
Did I say that?
Adults.
I mean, tell us a little bit about your membership.
We have from 6 months old to seniors and programs available for all of them. I mean, we hit the entire spectrum of people in our community and surrounding communities. But yeah, that's part of this renovation, and the excitement of it is to expand all those offerings through youth and teen development by having the space for a new teen center that allow us to run a mentoring program. Water safety, I mean, we try to be a staple in the community in running these courses and making sure kids, campers learn to swim throughout the year. So, being a waterfront community, it's important to have that life skill. Health and fitness, health and wellness. We're going to have a couple new studios, new equipment, new programming. We'll just really expand the capability of reaching those populations and what we offer them. Senior engagement, there's a huge senior population in the area as well. We're going to have a community room that will focus on bringing in different organizations as well that'll give that opportunity, and also an increase of I can't think of the word right now. Adaptive programming. We try to hit that right now, but it's another area that we can do much better in. Yeah.
Well, when I was young, I grew up at the YMCA, so I always went, and I went swimming, and we played pickup basketball, and we spent a lot of time there. And so this is like a community center that Mystic doesn't necessarily have, which is a fantastic resource.
It's interesting you say that, because when I was growing up, obviously, and we know a little bit about the history, I won't kind of give, because that just kind of, you'll figure out the age. But I grew up with the Mystic Community Center, which is now the Y, obviously on Masons Island Road there. But I grew up at Pearl Street, where the Mystic Community Center was a long time ago. But, being able to travel around the state of Connecticut and other parts of Massachusetts and Rhode Island, and one of the things, I've served on the Board of Police Commission, was when kids get in trouble, sometimes there's no place for them to go. So when you have this precious gem, I always relate things to jewelry, right up, really in the core of our community, where there's programs, like you said, you remember the Y. I mean, the importance of having a place for kids of all ages. It keeps them off the street. It keeps them connected to the community. You talked about mentoring. I mean, how important, Kristin, is this, for the Y to be plugged in our community? Now,
The Y is a national brand, so you guys are plugged in at that level as well?
Yeah, the Y of the USA is based out of Chicago, and every Y is independent. The Ocean Community YMCA is its own organization with our 3 branches: Mystic, Westerly, the Westerly Pawcatuck branch, and the Arcadia branch in Richmond, Rhode Island. But those are all under the Ocean Community YMCA Association, which gets advice and is advised by the Y of the USA. So we try to keep everything consistent, hence going to the Y,
the branding
Y
of your
logo.
shirts.
Right,
It's
that happened
fantastic,
about 8 years ago, somewhere along those lines.
The consistency is important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the Y is actually working on a national membership right now, so that if you're a member in one Y, you can go to all Ys.
Oh.
Right now, we're part of a reciprocal program in New England, that if you're a member in New England, you can visit other Ys. So it is. It's keeping things consistent and expanding at the same time.
Suzette, could I follow up on your analogy of the Y, that gem? You mentioned the Y was a gem down there on Masons Island Road. Well, it truly is a gem. Do you know how much land we have down there at the Mystic Y? We have 22 acres of land right on the Mystic River. We have at least 1,500 feet of shorefront on the Mystic River. This is a fantastic piece of property. And this renovation of the Y and the expansion of the Y is going to enhance this piece of property in so many ways. It's going to give other investors, private, people that want to contribute to the Y, they're going to want to contribute to help expand the use of that property in a very constructive way, because they know that the YMCA has just pumped over $7 million into this piece of shorefront property. And they'll have the confidence to spend more, to contribute more. The Y will be so confident in developing more activities on the waterfront down there at Williams Beach. So it truly is a gem. I can't say enough good things about the YMCA's property in Mystic, Connecticut.
Well, it's interesting because that's where I took swimming lessons back in the day. I think all the kids in Mystic, that's where they...
Off the beach
just
there?
Little Williams Beach, well, I mean, those were the days. But, you're speaking of that, and just to, kind of continue on that conversation, what people have to realize, too, is a nonprofit, okay? And so when the funds are available to do this large project, and we'll talk about the square footage and how big this project is, but it's the continuum, it's the continuation. So
exactly.
To Tom's point, when investors, and not only big, but also small, the families that say, hey, this is what I'm looking for, having a small business in town, let's move there. Because guess what? We've got a nice jewelry store, family jewelry store. We've got a great place to raise kids, whether it's Pawcatuck, Stonington, or Mystic. We've got a great waterfront, and we've got the Y. When you are looking for a place to raise children, one of the things is, okay, let's look at the school systems. Can't get any better than our school systems. And the people in there, people in the community, small business, and a place where they can safe. Oh, let's talk a little bit about that, having the police side of it. How safe is this facility?
It's very safe. I mean, we check in all of our members from wherever they come in. We know who's in our building, and that's important to us. We do screenings of our membership for if anybody's on the registry. Same with programs, same with our staff. All of our staff are very well trained for CPR. Lifeguards do. We do monthly drills for the entire staff, and we do much more frequent drills for our lifeguards.
That's important,
It's
Tanner.
very important.
It's important, that sort of conversation, because literally, we're dropping our kids off.
Right.
We're dropping our
right.
kids off to you.
I know. Believe I have 2 little girls myself, and we put them in the Y programs, and it's a total trust. And as the director of a branch for this Y, it's important for me that I know that the staff are treating the families well, and that the families trust our staff. So.
And Susette, we've had this rowing program down at the Y for 10 years, where we have a lot of expensive equipment outside, not chained up or not secure. We have had no vandalism down there on Williams Beach for this entire period of time. And I just think that's fantastic. To me, it tells me that people realize it's a secure area, and furthermore, people aren't going to vandalize the YMCA.
Right. Well, it's a testament.
That
Yes.
makes me think of in the notes that you had sent, and you talked about the principles of the YMCA. It was originally the Young Men's Christian Association, and now they're just saying the Y because that makes sense. It's been for everybody for so long. But the Christian principles are still something that you are working towards, yes? Is that?
Well, our mission is to instill Christian principles through practice, through programs that develop a healthy mind, body, and spirit. But the more important piece is the last part, which is for all, which you mentioned we're a nonprofit, we are a charity. So we do a big fundraiser every spring, basically early winter. And last year in 2016, we provided over $185,000 to families, youth, seniors, individuals to use the Y, use the facility. And that's really the biggest piece of our mission, is that we're open to all, regardless of their ability to pay.
So kindness and
Right.
neighborly and
Of course.
look out for each
Now,
other.
see, I didn't know that. And that's, to me, very important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
$185,000.
That's a lot.
Just in
lot.
the Mystic community. Now, we did expand some programming or offerings to Norwich. We bring in about 50 kids for summer camp every year from the Norwich area. We actually bus them in. And in New London, at the Winthrop Magnet School, we do some after-school, before and after-school programming for them. So we're trying to expand our reach to New London and Norwich, where there is a definite need for the Y.
Right.
Now, every year, are you fundraising for operating costs or that kind of thing, or?
The Y, we really use our membership fees, really drive our expenses. When we do our fundraising, 100% of it goes towards scholarship, and we typically give out a little more than what we bring in.
Scholarship meaning you
Scholarship
can be a part
is,
of the program? or-
we call it the Y Cares, right, is our financial assistance that, like I said, we're open to all, regardless of the ability to pay. So if somebody needs the assistance, we provide it. And that could be anywhere from 5 to 95% of our membership fees.
And that appeal occurs once a year in the beginning of the new year, sort of like the January, February time of year. It's called the annual campaign. It used to be called Reach Out to Youth, but now it's the annual campaign.
That's right.
And at the end of this campaign, we generally have a final fundraiser. And you mentioned that this Friday, I think you're going to be over at the Spicer Mansion. Well, not the Spicer family, the Gates family has offered the Spicer Mansion to the YMCA for the past 3 years for its
yes.
Sail into Spring final fundraiser for this annual campaign, Reach Out to Youth, where we raise that $185,000 to provide all these scholarships. So it's a real community effort, and the Gates family have been very generous in supporting that program.
Let's talk a little bit about the actual building. I mean, there is a groundbreaking.
The plans. Nesta.
I mean, what is actually? Is it going to be attached to the original building, or kind of give us a sort of layout about this? Even though I already know about it, but anyways, you
Yeah.
kind of picture it for the audience.
Yeah, so currently, the back of the building where the
Yeah.
beach is, that is our back entrance. So what's going to happen is that back half of the building, really by the end of this month, is going to be coming down. And that's where our renovation is going to be. Not the renovation, the expansion. So we're going to take that back half of the building, expand it out to the parking lot, adding an additional 12,000 square feet.
Wow.
And when that is complete, that's going to become the new front of the building. So it'll all be glass looking out over the water. You'll come into a big open lobby, very friendly for memberships, a welcoming environment. If you've been to the Wesley branch, it's going to be very similar, but
Yeah, with the
right,
look
but
of
with Mystic's touch to it. And the second floor will be the wellness center, so all of our fitness equipment, machines, will be up on the second floor, looking out over the water. Nice new huge child watch room on the bottom floor, along with the community room, which I mentioned before. It's just going to open a lot of new program space. And there's also kind of across from where our child watch will be is a new teen center, which is we don't currently have a community room or a teen center, and that is a huge need in the community. Like I mentioned, to open up to the mentoring program, just another place for these kids to go, because we can't offer that right now. So that's,
Well, the teens are a very important
right,
group.
right,
They need to someplace to go.
exactly.
And an important part of the renovation, I'm not sure if you mentioned this, but there's now going to be a family changing room.
That's right.
And so there's going to be the men's room, there's going to be the men's locker room, the ladies' locker room, and now a place for families to go into and change. So little boys and little girls won't be running around me when I'm...
When you're
Yes.
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 Oh, thank you for absolutely sharing that with us, Tom. But I just wanted, there's a couple of camp pictures. I don't know if Frank showed them.
He did when we were
Because-
talking about camp, but let's see him
Well,
again, 'cause they're
let's
so
see him again,
cute.
because you know what? I was
missed
too
it.
busy
Look-
talking.
yes,
Okay,
that's
look at
great.
that. And then,
That's
you know what,
right by
that
the
was like
marsh.
a rainbow,
Right?
doesn't it?
Yeah.
How fantastic is that? Thank you, Frank, for oh, you see, I couldn't get the, look at those kids.
And ask Tanner how many kids there are there.
Tanner, how many
Tanner,
kids?
how many kids?
We have about 200, a little over 200 per session. So we were on,
Little over 200.
that's right,
Okay.
every day.
And you're looking for volunteers.
We always look for volunteers.
We've got a few more minutes here, but I want to know how many is on staff, Tanner?
Well, for camp or just the Y in general?
The Y in general?
We
and-
have about 5 or 6 full-time staff and, gosh, about 150 part-time staff.
Okay, will
from-
that grow with the new facility?
It's
Hoping to
certainly
grow.
will. Yeah, it
with
certainly
the new
will.
facility, right?
Yeah.
And then you have contractors, like people that teach yoga, for instance.
Well,
that
those
come
are
up.
those are part of our staff, and that number that I say that's our all of our instructors, our child watch staff, our our fitness attendants on the floor. That's all in that number.
And how about, what are the hours for the Y?
Right now we are 5 a.m. till 10 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then we do
5
a.m. You should be there. I haven't seen you there that
Is
early.
Tom Sanford there, Tanner, at 5 a.m.? That's the only
He's
time.
almost on
in
the
his
water at
changing
5 a.m.
room. I just want to make sure, but 5 a.m. to 10 p.m.
I won't bother you. I promise.
But that's great. I mean, you've got. I mean, I was thinking you open up at 7 to basically 9, but
Till
that's
10 p.m. though.
Saturday,
Wow.
Sunday we do 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
okay. So you have those evenings off. That's fantastic. That's great. So we only have a few minutes, Tom Sanford, and I know that you want to wrap it up a little bit because you always have a lot to say.
I'm speechless. We've spoken so much. We're so proud of what's happening at the YMCA. Of course, it's going to be inconvenient for the members for the next 12 to 18 months. All of the equipment has now been shoved into the gymnasium. And pretty soon, the gymnasium and the swimming pool will be the only facilities there that that you're aware of, that you've known about since you were there when it was the community center. So it's going to be a difficult period, but with a little bit of patience and understanding, our membership should smile and enjoy it. And if they have to, they can take the long journey down to the Westerly Y, where Maureen Fitzgerald and the people down there are geared up to handle more traffic from the Mystic area that may come down during this period of time. But the Y is doing everything it can to make this transition as easy, enjoyable, as seamless as possible.
And I think you're doing a great job. I mean, seriously, thank you. It's
Thank
going to
you.
be, just so we got about 2 seconds here. What's the projected plan? When are we going to be in?
Hopefully we'll be completely done by next October, November.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Tanner, thank you so much for being on the show. Tom Sanford, I'm going to see you soon someplace. I don't know, some event, wherever, but always want to hold your hand. And Kristin,
I'll hold your
all
hand.
right,
hold
listen,
hands.
we can all hold hands. We are the Y, This has been a great show. Thank you again for being on the show. We are Mystic Matters and also the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. Good evening.